Welcome back, all. So, now that we have prepared all the components that we will need, we can deal with the child routes. Before, we basically configured all the routes in the app routes.ts. And this is fine for some general configuration, and we indeed can register all of our routes there. But our module account would not really be reusable because the configuration for its routes is outside somewhere. So if we were to use it anywhere else, we would basically be missing a vital part of the accounts. So we will instead create a file inside of the account folder where we shall define all the routes for this module, and then we shall simply import them into app.routes, and then we can use them there and play around with them and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and create account.routes.ts. Account.routes.ts. And that's gonna go ahead and create this file for us. Now we need to go ahead and implement it. We first need to import, and I'm really stupid for actually not having a file from which to copy this, so I'm gonna have to type it in. Router config from oops. Angular / router. There we go. So this is basically an array of routes, and every route is an object that describes one of the routing routes, so to say. I have explained this before, and you'll see down below how it actually looks like. Once you see the shape of it, it becomes a lot clearer than the actual explanation. So import, this is nothing new. So count component, we have imported this plenty of times. From, and this is gonna be dot account dot component. And down below, we'll actually utilize some of our newly created files. So these will be, list component, and then it's going to be like from dot list dot component. Okay, and we're gonna import the create component as well. So import component from create component. Okay, there we go. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna create a constant array, and then we're gonna go ahead and export it. Why const? Well, because we don't want it to be changed at all, ever, by anyone. Export const routes router config equals, and now we're gonna go. Yep, the spelling is right. So the first path, this is very similar to before. Count, so Kuma. This is basically the URL for the route. So slash account, when you type it on the website, like slash accounts, like before the demo that I did for you, you will be ending up here. And we need to specify the component which marks, we need to, basically this line will mark the component which will be shown. Just we'll specify the account component here, but the account component will be displayed within the app component. So it's kind of a nested thing. Okay, component, account, component. Let's place a comma here, and now we're gonna do something. Oops. Whoa. Need this. Excellent. And now we're gonna do something new. So we're gonna specify children here. And these children will be basically the sub routes of this route. So children. And this shall be path list. Component. Okay, so one will be for the list of accounts, and the other one will be to create an account. So path create component. Okay, so let's place a comma here, and let's place a comma here. And now we need a third one. And the third one will be the default one when you basically type in slash accounts. So where will the redirect occur? So it needs to go somewhere. It can't go nowhere. So we're just going to place like this empty and redirect to. And the default one, I'm going to say that that's going to be list. Okay. So I'm still getting a red flag for some strange reason. Let me just go ahead and fix that real fast. There we go. So that's the thing that we needed to do. And look, when the list in combination with the accounts, basically it looks like this. So account slash list, when this is typed into onto the screen, that's well, accounts slash list, when this is typed into the URL address bar along with the rest of the address before this, which is basically the address, the domain of the site, you will go to the list. When you do slash create, you go to the create, and when you when you just do this accounts, then you go to the list, you're automatically redirected. Whoa. I am behaving in a very strange way today with these random keyboard strikes. Okay, so that would be it as far as this file is concerned. I just need a semicolon at the end. And I need to press Ctrl S to actually save it. Now this has become far more portable. And the next thing we'll need to do is readjust our app.routes.ts. So where is it? App.routes.ts. Okay, there we go. So this is the file which we will need to modify a little bit, so nothing too drastic. So this line will basically need to go. Well, actually, I'm gonna rather instead just modify it. Routes as count routes, and from account routes. Okay, so this should be correct. Next up, we're gonna need to go ahead and delete this because this is gonna go away. This is no longer being defined here in this fashion. And app router providers, this stays the same. Now, there is only one thing of importance here, one key thing that will look a little bit weird. Account routes. So, what did I just do here? First of all, I have some sort of variable routes here, and I have some sort of variable routes here. So they both have the same names. And I would like to use this one, the contents of this one here. How can I do that when there will be conflict between the names of the variables? Well, you simply import routes as something else under a different name. You import it under a different name. So I have imported it under the name of account routes. And there you go, sure enough, I have used it here. But I have also specified the 3 dots. Since routes here is of type router config and it's an array, and the same applies for this one here. This is an array. I don't want to import an array into an array. I want to take the elements of this array, which are its routes, and I want to take those routes and put them here into this array. So in order to do that, I need to type in 3 dots, the name of the variable, and this will pull the elements of the array and place them into here. It won't actually pull the array itself as an array, rather instead it will pull the elements of the array and place them here, so I get a listing of routes. There was no need for me to do it this way, but I believe it is something of importance that you should know, that you can import variables under different names, as on bigger projects it is inevitable that the names of the variables will come to be in a state of collision, that they will overlap one another. And no, you won't be able to change them in the other file because the other file is managed by a different person and you don't have rights to modify it, but you do depend on it. So you need to manage with these small tricks. Anyway, gonna bid you farewell and hope to see you in the follow-up.